We have become and are the auction of choice in Connecticut for charity and donation outlets throughout the United States. We do quite well in that arena. We have a substantial buyer base that's interested in those vehicles each and every week. And, it's worked out quite well for us. It's a good niche for us, particularly in the instance of a charity. We absolutely have to morally, as well as ethically and business-wise, make sure that those charities get top dollar for those vehicles. And we do everything we can in our power to work those and do it. The preparation of charity donation cars specifically is a wash, detail if necessary or if advisable, de-trash in a lot of cases, air up a flat tire, repair a tire that's going flat, charge the battery so the car starts on its own. Basically, we try to enhance the vehicle's value without spending much, if any, money. So they have to get an exponential lift, if you will, from that car being prepared. In other words, we don't spend $300 to get $100 more, but we will spend $100 so the charity can get $300 more. Nothing beats a live auction. That being said, it's not 100%. It's 90%. But for the other 10%, that's where we fall back on online venues to cover any potential shortfall that might happen at the live sale. When a car comes in to Central Auto Auction and signed into our lot, into our inventory, we immediately take pictures, do a brief condition report, etc. From there, that vehicle is it's in our system with photos, and it's when a car comes through the lane, it's offered on simulcast. We have simulcast, so anybody can, not anybody, but any one of our dealers can bid from anywhere in the world on simulcast as live as that car is going through the lane. So it's a live competitive bidding situation against floor bidders, even if you're off-site. If you're on vacation or you're homesick one day or whatever the case may be, you can still participate in the sale and bid live against floor bidders. So those photographs, play into that. At the end of the sale, whatever no sales we may have, we already have the photos, are immediately posted to centralalaa.com, which is our in-house online venue. We call it the Bid or Buy Now sale. That runs from Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock when the sale's over till Sunday night at 8 p.m. Then Monday it gets reloaded again. Also, the vehicles go on to ove.com, they go on to Smart Auction, and they go on to Open Lane. So in addition to simulcast, we have 4 online venues. That's huge exposure. That's unbelievable national, in fact, international exposure. If your car doesn't sell after that, you might want to think about the price, or maybe we'll take another look at the car, because I can assure everyone that no one gets more eyes on the car than we do here at Central Auto Auction, beyond a doubt. The same car can be here, it can be at any other auction, and its value is relatively the same based on its existence. But if we can present it in a better light, if it's a little cleaner, if it runs a little better, if there's a good crowd of buyers, the right crowd of buyers, not just a crowd of people hanging out, but the right crowd of buyers, that's all marketing, and that's what we specialize in and put a Herculean effort into, if you will, to make sure that that's all right so those cars can bring top dollar, and they do, pretty much each and every time. The fees, obviously, that we charge charities are minimal and not particularly profitable. The work that's required to handle charity and donation vehicles is substantial. You have to pick vehicles up at people's homes. You have to make appointments. You have to handle the title from a private person. A lot of title issues, people not filling it out correctly or whatever. Then when the vehicle gets here, not all people, believe it or not, that donate to charity donate a real nice expensive car. Sometimes they just want to get a piece of junk out of their driveway, and that ends up here as well. So we have to deal with that, and again, make that car as presentable and decent as possible, and run through the lane so it brings top dollar, particularly in the instance of a charity. There was one time with a donation vehicle that it came in here condemned. The charity was on the fence whether they should send it straight to scrap or to here. to us. And all it was, the reason the vehicle didn't run, it looked like it was in the woods under a tree. It was all covered with sap and junk, had 2 flat tires, battery missing. But it was kind of a valuable car if it was in decent condition. So we put a battery in it and saw why the car didn't run. All it needed was a fuse, some sort of a fuel pump fuse. So we put the fuse in, we got it running, we aired up the tires, we cleaned it. Might have spent $200 on that car to do all that. And we sold that car for $4,800. Now, that car almost was scrapped. And if it went to a scrapyard, obviously it would have been, or to an auction that doesn't handle things the way we do, it would have been. What a disservice that is to a charity particularly, and to the donor. The donor's thinking that he's donating $4,000 or $5,000 to a charity and it ends up being $200 or $300 because it's mishandled. No, that's not going to happen here. Any car that comes here, we'll make sure that we get top buck for those charities. And that's only one example. That is not, that's an extreme example, but it's not an unusual example. That happens here weekly. So in the course of a year, it's many thousands of dollars are left on the table if things are not handled properly. And I'm not about to let that happen here. It seems lately that charities, donation firms are very interested in statistics. And consequently, some of the bigger chain auctions that can supply those statistics appears impressive at first blush. The issue is, though, those big chain auctions don't do the physical handling of the car the way we do. Some of them don't even have a live auction anymore. All it is simulcast or internet. They're leaving the best part of the equation out. So although we're not a national player, obviously, we're a local player, but what values most is what should value most of these charities is getting the most money for their cars as possible. And that's what does happen here because, again, it's handled on a personal level. It makes no difference. The statistics of things aren't going to get a seller $4,800 for a car they would have otherwise got $300 for. Personalized service means that it's a hands-on approach with every vehicle. Some of the larger auctions, based on their size, they're just not in a position to do that. Here, every single vehicle that comes in is touched basically by a manager, which ensures that that particular vehicle is handled properly. Handled properly means cleaned and prepped properly in its appropriate run number during a peak time of the sale, etc. So there's a hands-on approach to each and every vehicle that's in this sale, if not by me, by one of my managers. We assess each and every vehicle. And if there's anything that can be done to increase its value exponentially, we do it. And we make sure it's marketed properly to the correct audience and to as vast an audience as possible. And we make sure the vehicle makes its best presentation, and if it's at all possible to be running, that it runs and drives. And that's the way that extra effort brings top dollar for those vehicles. It's basically in the way it's handled. And we specialize in that area. We have the facility, the personnel, the willingness, the ability to handle it correctly. And it's not typical that it is handled correctly, in my opinion. So, but here it always is. You can rest assured that it is.